What's up, everybody? Raw Cut Friday. Your boy AJ Perfect here. We about to talk about water. Water on Earth, baby. So a lot of videos been circulating here recently about water is older than Earth itself. So majority of the water on Earth that you may be drinking right now, that you may be diving into in the summertime, that you see that's frozen over wherever you at, majority of the water on Earth is older than Earth itself, and even the sun itself. So what they're saying is that potentially asteroids came during the Great Bombardment period, and asteroids came and just bow, 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 just crushing into Earth in the form of like these huge, hard icicles or ice balls or some shit, just coming down, boom. And at that time, Earth was like a molten ball of rock, so it cooled the planet. And then as these icebergs was hitting during that period of time, over millions, billions of years, however long that was, that it eventually melted. And so when that water melted, it started to fill into the basins and all the craters and different things that the asteroids and comets and meteors and all the different rocks and stuff had caused on the Earth, and to fill out that void, creating the oceans and the lakes that we see today, in a sense. But the interesting thing is, though, what they haven't been talking about is that if that is the case, just think about how when you travel, they don't let you take certain plants from one country to another, because they don't want like cross pollination or cross germination and things. They don't want you to introduce a new species into an environment where it shouldn't be because it may fuck up the whole ecosystem and stuff. So, think of it as like a seed floating in the wind from, one area to another. So if you take that to a cosmic scale, and if water is truly older than the sun itself in our solar system and it's coming here, if you kind of take that cosmic scale and bring it down to the analogy of the seed floating in the wind, there could have been potential seeds and different things in that water on those asteroids that hit the Earth. So from wherever they came from, wherever they originated, or it could have just been over time. They could have been floating around and collected things, and when it came here, over time, when it thawed out, things evolved and whatnot and began to grow a life of its own. Which, as you see some of the things, like they say octopuses are aliens, there's some theories that think octopuses are aliens. So if you think about a lot of the marine life could potentially be not of this earth. But most of the studies have shown that they share similar DNA with everything from the earth. They have like 4 common chromosomes or so, whatever it is. I can't even remember that right now. It don't really matter. This raw cut, baby. We ain't trying to be factually correct. We just want to talk, put some ideas out there, talk about things that we've seen. But anyway, but they already say we already know 80% of the oceans have not been explored. So you got 80% of the ocean have not been explored. You see all the time online, you see different things of a new creature emerges, or never before seen this, or haven't seen this one in 100 years or 1,000 years, or gigantic squid, gigantic jellyfish on the coast of here. Um, just imagine all the different life forms that are at deep sea, beyond the pressures that the human built machine, let alone a body, can go without being crushed or being functional. So if you got 80% of the earth down, or 80% of the oceans unexplored, we got certain areas that we can't even reach that practically mimic outer space. For one, it's super dark. The deeper you go, super dark. You can't see anything. Same thing as outer space, in some places where there's no sun or whatever. Super cold or freezing temperatures, immense pressure, pushing down on, whatever it is. Same thing out of space. Um, and just a big void, like unexplored. Same thing as out of space. So there's a lot of similarities. I mean, even from biblical terms or cliches and different things, as above, so below, all these things kind of lend to each other, or may have been hiding in plain sight, or may have been hinting towards something at the same time. So, as above, so below. So as above in space, so below in the deep, below, like literally below, in the deep, deep sea. So, I just wanted to bring that up and just something to think about. Like, We actually drinking, when you drink water, there's like a 75% chance that you're drinking something that's older than the sun. And some of the molecules and atoms and cells in our body are older than the sun. We are older than the sun. If our bodies are potentially 70% water, or thrive off of it, that water is coming from somewhere. We're putting it into our body, and our cells in our body and atoms refresh every so many days, every 6 or 7 days. It's a reoccurring cycle. So that's why they say you are what you eat, because literally, as you eat and consume things, your body is using that to refuel and to repair and to reshape and to build. So if we're drinking that water that's older than the sun, we are 70% water. You are what you eat, consume, drink. So I turned 40 in November, but you know what I'm saying, I might be 40 billion, 40 trillion years old. You know what I'm saying, on no surface level, I still look good. I gotta get a haircut though, but that's all good though. But just something to think about. I want to drop that for the Raw Cut Friday real quick. Let me know your thoughts. Y'all go to Google, y'all go to Chat GPT, y'all go to Google Scholar, go to the encyclopedias, like look up some of the different things, formulate your own theories. A lot of the stuff is kind of opinionated or idealistic, or just kind of unexplored or unresearched. So a lot of things are going to kind of steer you away from some of the things that I'm saying, or that I, are bringing up, because it hasn't been scientifically backed or scientifically proven. So, but that's how great things get discovered. That's how great ideas come about. Because if everything was already scientifically proven or discovered, then we would have no innovation today. So this is how we bring things to light. This is how we go down, the rabbit hole of discovery. Um, so I mean, let me know what y'all think. Let me know, your comments, your, ideas, not necessarily beliefs, but your potential um reasons, or your potential cases or causes, or your potential, just whatever it is. I mean, I really like this subject. I really like this topic, just because water is such a large part of our life, such a large part of our planet, and such a large part of our ecosystem. And but yet it's so unknown and so unexplored that it's a large amount of possibilities that can come out of this. Um, you know, just from knowing, say, I mean, just some cool shit to know. At the end of the day, it may not change any kind of quality of our life, but it does open up the mind, the open mindedness to go down and explore different things, to get out of the rat race of politics and financial burdens, and just the day-to-day life. So it's also just giving you an outlet, escape to think about something different, to think about something new, and then that may unlock something else that leads, so it becomes like a branch effect. But that's all we're trying to do, with this Doing Too Much podcast. We just all about open-mindedness and exploring and sharing, and doing it all, baby. But all right, no, y'all be good, have a great weekend. Raw Cut Friday, AJ Perfect, and we out of here.